Sewer system priorities, SPLOST 6 and 7, city manager.
Mayor and Council, the city engineer, Stevenson and Palmer, came and reported to us on Tuesday night, expanded a little bit on the priority list that was presented to you and uploaded for discussion purposes at the retreat. Basically, that was discussed again, and what we tried to do is have the engineer prioritize what those different elements may be. Now, albeit we did not get into, heavy discussions concerning financing and some of the more costly alternatives for long-range improvements to the system. However, there were some short-range improvements that were identified specifically to correct the system in the events of heavy rain. There have been a number of what's called I&I, inflow and infiltration improvements that have been done to the system over the past 8 years or so. And basically what that's entailed is they'll go into the manholes and they'll spray the manholes, they'll then vacuum seal them and check to see if the pressure is tight. They will slip line the old terracotta lines. We've replaced a lot of them, but there are still some in town. The mayor and I went out with Public Works Director Warren. We looked at some of those old terracotta lines that have been identified as priority, and I have a map there. Insects were crawled in between the joints. Slip lines basically correct that problem, and you have a tight system whereby water cannot get in. See, one of the main issues that we're identifying is we're processing storm water. Well, really what the system should be processing is sewage. But storm water increases the amount of energy and the amount of time, and it decreases the amount of capacity. So trying to make the system tight is something every provider tries to do around the state, but that's certainly an ongoing thing. But the engineer identified 2 critical areas. One is at the trailer park on Gray Street with a line that's going north towards 122. There is another line on Main Street where there is believed to be some cross connections to the storm drains. They did some liquid smoke testing, and those smoke puffs were observed coming out of the storm drains, which means that there's readily some inflow and infiltration that may occur there. Basically what's proposed and what's in your cost estimate is a find and fix. There's not a specific amount that's there. The cap that's been placed on it is $200,000. If the council would choose to proceed with that number 1 priority, staff would recommend it. We do have just enough funds remaining in SPLOST 6 to undertake that, and it will, of course, move forward our ongoing inflow and infiltration improvements. But I'll entertain any questions you may have, in case I missed anything.
I would like to say that this is not 100% fixed with this slip lining, because all we're going to be doing is the main lines that belong to the city. We do have a lot of infiltration from residential homes. Some of the older homes that do not have a clean out. What the plumbers have done in the past is dig down on the sewer line itself, just a hole in it, and then cover it with a piece of metal. And so you're always going to have infiltration unless we can identify those spots. But I just want to let you know this is not a complete 100% fix. It's really going to be about 80.
There are other priorities on this list, and we can get into those tonight, or we can continue to discuss them. There are some other items that we have to discuss, like 9F, where we can bring it up as well. But these other priorities that the engineer has identified are definitely long-term fixes, and certainly need to be sought. At this time, we're just recommending that inflow and infiltration find and fix improve.
I just want to clarify, I have the letter that you're talking about in front of me from Stevenson and Palmer Engineering Inc. This is, we're talking about, as you number of priority projects here listed under the heading of Hahira projects. This one that we're talking about specifically is number 2 under the heading of sewer collection system rehabilitation. Is that correct? And that's the only one we're considering at this time.
That is correct.
Okay.
And I have a map, if anybody needs to see it, of where those identified problem areas are. It's available at City Hall as well.
Any more questions?
Well, I'd just like to say that solving any problem, you can sit around and wait for the perfect and defeat the good. And we know the cost of a 100% fix, that at this particular immediate time can't afford it. But I can't think of a better thing right now in this city that we need to be focusing in on than to use what funds we do have available to get on this, get it started, and get the ball rolling to eventually, over a period of time, knock this out. Because I can't think of another thing that can be more important for the future of this city and our ability to develop this city the way it should be developed for the future than to be able to accommodate sewage. So I would certainly like to encourage us to make a motion to move forward with at least this part of that priority list.
I'd like to make one more comment on that. I agree with Councilman Barfield on that, on this issue. I think this is something we need to do. I wanted to mention something in the public format where we are right now because it has been mentioned in various meetings for different reasons in the last 6 months or so regarding I&I. You've heard that term, I&I, what that is. It's the infiltration problems coming in, bringing in stormwater into cracked pipes, as has been explained. And it's been mentioned that there have been issues with stormwater causing problems to where you see water coming up into the streets out of manholes. That's what this is designed to help fix. It is not a 100% fix, but according to our engineers, it will make a significant impact, and it is a necessary part of reaching the 100% fix, if we can possibly get to a 100% fix. So I just wanted to say that to let everybody understand that's what we're looking at doing with this. It's not a 100% fix. It's not a Band-Aid either. It's something that's necessary and will significantly improve our I&I problem.
Any more questions, comments?